Psalm 74 is a communal lament, and it very much, it's at the beginning, it's near the beginning, it's the second psalm of book 3, and it very much sets the tone of the rest of the book. I said in the quick hits that book 3 is a very dark, dark book, and I think Psalm 74 can give you some example of just how dark it can be. So let's look at the text together. A maskil of Asaph, so this is an Asaphite song. O God, why do you cast us off forever? Why does your anger smoke against the sheep of your pasture? Remember your congregation, which you acquired long ago, which you redeemed to be the tribe of your heritage. Remember Mount Zion, where you came to dwell. Direct your steps to the perpetual ruins. The enemies destroyed everything in the sanctuary. Your foes have roared within your holy place. They set up their emblems there. At the upper entrance, they hacked the wooden trellis with axes, and then with hatchets and hammers, they smashed all its carved work. They set your sanctuary on fire. They desecrated the dwelling place of your name, bringing it to the ground. They said to themselves, we will utterly subdue them. They burned all the meeting places of God in the land. We don't see our emblems. There's no longer any prophet, and there's no one among us who knows how long. How long, O Lord, how long, O God, is the foe to scoff? Remember our lament feature, how long? Is the enemy to revile your name forever? Why do you hold back your hand? Why do you keep your hand in your bosom? Notice that the psalmist here is directing and reminding God that the destruction of God's temple is an attack on God. That it's not that you need to save us because we're so terrific. You're the one who is being dishonored here, God. You need to do something. You need to act. We saw this a little bit in book 1, where the lament psalm always, when they approach this, is always in trying to show how it's in God's best interests to answer this prayer, not how it's in my best interest, how it's in your best interest. But then the psalmist goes on to remember who God is, and this act of remembrance and celebration is interesting because it's a discussion of creation, an allusion to creation, but it's creation presented in a way that I bet would surprise you. Most of the times we're used to, Psalm 8's how majestic is your name in all the earth and how God created, and Psalm 104 where God celebrates creation, or Genesis 1 or Genesis 2 where God is the one in creation. But here the creative act is interesting. Look at verse 12. Yet God, my King, is from old, working salvation in the earth. You divided the sea by your might. You broke the heads of the dragons in the waters. You crushed the heads of Leviathan. You gave him as food for the creatures of the wilderness. You cut openings for springs and torrents. You dried up ever-flowing streams. Yours is the day. Yours is also the night. You established the luminaries and the sun. You fixed all the bounds of the earth. You've made summer and winter. This, obviously, you hear the creation echoes, but what's interesting is how violent creation is. Now, on the heels of a destroyed temple, this might not surprise us, but also remember that in this culture, everyone is familiar with the ancient Near Eastern context of creation. Ancient Near Eastern, other cultures had their, either with the Enuma Elish, or maybe the Canaanite story with Lotan. But they always had that evil, watery chaos dragon that is personified here as Leviathan. And that creative act, the hero god, whether it's whoever you have in your particular pantheon, it was Marduk in the Babylonian story in the Enuma Elish, is crushing the head of Tiamat and splitting Tiamat in two and beating back the dragons. That was a cultural expectation. Here the Bible is adapting that language, only it is Yahweh who is defeating chaos. And this is appropriate because what we really want, as the psalmist is singing out here, what we really want is God to bring some order from the chaos that's now ensued, right? The temple has been destroyed. Everything that they have known and counted on is gone. All the meeting places of God is gone. The world is truly, chaos has won back. The dragons are winning here. And we remember that we have a God who destroyed the dragons before. We need him to come and destroy these dragons now, who will come and take care and act and be powerful and mighty and do these things. Remember this, O Lord, how the enemy scoffs, and an impious people reviles your name. Do not deliver the soul of your dove to the wild animals. Don't forget the life of your poor forever. Have regard for your covenant, for the dark places of the land are full of haunts of violence. Don't let the downtrodden be put to shame. Let the poor and the needy praise your name. Rise up, O God, plead your cause. Remember how the impious scoff at you all day long. Don't forget the clamor of your foes, the uproar of your adversaries that goes up continually. So again, in God's best interest to answer this prayer. But we do see within this psalm, this, first of all, very typical lament with the features of how long and the crying out. And even the celebration of who God is a celebration of who God is that focuses on the power that we want God to show now, this creative power to beat back the dragons in our lives.